In recent years, London has diversified away from developments dominated by a single use. Battersea Power Station, Elephant Park, Canary Wharf. All have adapted their offer through the evolution of their original planning position, a proactive and necessary step for these vibrant neighbourhoods. And looking forward, we have Earls Court, Euston Station, the South Bank, Canada Water. These major new hubs for London are targeting a full breadth of occupier, worker and visitor through exciting new planning permissions focused on mixed use. But if the data tells us that we have a consistent issue with undersupply across London, why do we care about mixed use? Which, at least on paper, is reducing supply by diluting those planning applications across a range of uses. And how can the case for mixed use be so compelling that highly valued planning consents are being revisited? Firstly, consumer demographics. Simply put, the consumer has changed. We now want to both live and work in versatile, dynamic locations, offering more than just live or work. Secondly, flexibility. Flexibility on delivery strategy, flexibility on funding, flexibility on timing. Mixed use can accelerate delivery through partnerships whilst reducing our exposure to market risk for any given sector. And thirdly, viability and planning. Particularly for residential, as the hardening planning position of the Mayor has left us in no doubt that the drive for affordable housing and affordable workspace are key drivers of land value. As such, any global slowdown in demand, such as we have seen through COVID and Brexit, significantly impacts viability to such a degree that change is necessary.
So, what does good look like? To answer that, we must look to the newest districts for inspiration. Places such as Nine Elms, Stratford, White City and King's Cross have provided a campus-style release valve, attracting expansive sectors like big tech and life sciences. The likes of Facebook and pharmaceutical giant Merck are both great examples of this. These areas have successfully provided a vibrant, cohesive mix of lifestyle, living, education and workspace. This enables some of the world's largest companies to attract and retain the best talent possible, whilst remaining connected to London. The demand for this style of development from occupiers has driven compelling and sustained rental growth in these areas and created a ripple effect for the buildings in the immediate vicinity. All submarkets in London will need to adapt to survive. Looking to the future, the next opportunities will lie in schemes and in areas that start evolving into a balanced, resilient and sustainable mix of real estate, whilst reacting to market changes. There's a huge shortfall in the future supply of office space over the coming years, so these are questions we need to address sooner rather than later, especially after 5 quarters of increasing take-up, seeing occupier activity rebound to above the long-term average. Crucially, these trends and changes are also further moving apart the traditional perception of what makes a core location. As Nick mentioned, Canada Water, the South Bank, Earls Court and Euston are just a handful of areas to watch.
And alongside all of this, a desire for sustainability will drive mixed-use development as the need to repurpose begins to impact. We at Knight Frank are convinced that repurposing has a crucial role to play in the future of development, but we still have a distance to travel in terms of that practical execution. Future life cycles must be planned for today, providing an understanding of how buildings will convert or be repurposed in the future. And yes, changing sustainability credentials pose challenges, but it's up to us to adapt, find the long-term solutions, and deliver a quality of environment appropriate for London's future. While compliance will evolve over time, the fundamentals of delivering sustainable assets are by now well understood.
The exciting news is that the office development world has seen a huge response to the ESG and climate change call to arms. Developers have led the charge, driven by taking responsibility, and large-scale occupiers have been very public about their own carbon commitments. Recognising real estate can be a vehicle for change has been one of the shining lights over the last 2 years. With added weight from capital markets, policy and public perception, ESG has rightfully risen to the top of the agenda. The life cycle of rebuild or repurpose through intelligent design must be embraced. If mixed-use urban developments of scale are to help relieve the supply crunch and create a more sustainable and lasting built environment, they must be future-proofed and able to react not just to market changes, but also to global changes.